The longer I lived in Cutter Gap, the more I learned about the mountain families. The McCones were the sharpest hunters. The Allen women were famous for their sewing. And the Spencers, especially John, had the gift of music.
Guess who?
Quit it, Bessie. I'm trying to figure the notes out. Hey, give that back.
I will for a kiss.
Come on, it's just an old song.
Sing it for me.
I sing like a frog.
Then I'll sing, you play. How green grow the lilacs, all sparkling with dew. How sad was the day that I parted from you. The next time I see you, I'll hope to prove true. And we'll change the green lilacs to the red, white, and blue.
That was beautiful. You both are so talented.
I put it down for you, Miss Christy. Ever since you showed us how to write down music the proper way, I've been figuring out all the old songs I can. And I'm gonna put them in a book so folks like that Mr. Harlan can't steal them and say they wrote them.
A mountain songbook. What a fine idea, John.
You think so, ma'am?
Yes. And now, I have a surprise for you. My father sent me a biography of Mozart. Remember I told you about Mozart?
Yes, ma'am. I reckon he was the greatest musician who ever lived.
Well, he was called a composer because he wrote music. I want you to read the book and then give the class a report.
Okay, I can do that.
All right. I'd like you to make it about, 3 pages. All right.
Miss Christy done this when she was my age. She said she'd be proud for me to have it. Miss Ida gave me this before she left. And I got 2 iron pots that my granny gave me. And this silver spoon my Uncle Angus brought back from the war between the states.
It's a fine hope chest, Ruby May.
Well, it'd be finer if I had a real chest to keep them in, but I'll get one someday.
I ain't got no chest neither. Nor much to put in it. Only a feather mattress. Mama made it the winter she died.
Well, it don't matter. You don't need a hope chest. You already got your boy to marry.
Well, I seen Will back looking at you in church last Sunday, and you know what he told me?
Girls, what is all this about?
Our hope chests. We're planning for when we get married. Don't you just love weddings, Miss Christy?
Well, yes, but I hope it's a long way off for both of you. You should finish your education, and then you might want to see the world beyond Cutter Gap.
Not me. I'm gonna marry John Spencer any day now.
Bessie, I can't believe your father would give his permission.
He ain't.
Not yet, but he will.
Well, I hope you'll reconsider. Marriage at your age is not a wise idea. You might regret it later on.
You're just jealous, because you're an old maid school teacher.
The Great Smokies. When I left my city home to be a school teacher at a backwoods mission, I dreamed of adventure. I wasn't ready for the real challenges of life in these mountains. I'd have given up, if not for the children. I came to Cutter Gap to teach, but they show me every day that I'm here to learn.
Jeb, come in out of the rain. I made you some hot cider.
Can't stop now. Sourwood's in bloom.
Well, I'm not coming up there. You know how I feel about them bees.
They're hard-working little things. People can learn from them.
You mean how the males always die after mating?
I was pondering on more how it's females who do all the stinging.
John, did you do this?
Yes, ma'am.
Daisies, Rosa Sharon. You must have climbed all over the mountains for these.
You're about. Do they please you?
They're lovely. Thank you.
I'd do anything for you, Miss Christy. You're like a diamond. You sparkle and glow, and you make everyone believe they're better than they really are. Especially me. I think you're the finest woman in the world.
John.
I love you, Miss Christy.
No, you mustn't say that.
I got to tell you how I feel. I love you, Miss Christy.
John Spencer's not a boy. In the Colt, he's considered a man. Old enough to fight, old enough to marry. And if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say you're not 2 years older than John.
He seems so much younger.
He's not as worldly as you are. But his feelings run as deeply.
It's Bessie he cares for. This is simply an infatuation.
Are you certain?
No.
Young men John's age are fragile. We could harm him without meaning to.
Ma'am?
Jeb?
But now, don't shoot. I didn't mean to scare you.
It's all right. He's the one from the mission.
My name is Scott, Daniel Scott, and I've come to call on you and Mrs. Spencer.
Good way to get yourself killed. Sneaking up like that.
Well, I'm sorry, but my bearings were off. I thought your cabin was further up the way. I really am sorry.
Go back inside, children. Now.
What is it you want?
Well, sir, Alice Henderson and the Reverend Grantland have invited me to build myself a cabin just over the rise there on Mission property.
What they do with their land is none of my concern.
Well, I have always believed that good neighbors are important. And I want you to know that I intend to be one to you. And I just know that you'll come to feel the same about me. In time.
I best be off to the mission.
I don't want you going off alone. Not with him around.
He don't mean us no harm. It's nothing to keep me from my reading lesson. I'll be all right. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you,
Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust.
Perfect. Not one mistake.
Beautifully read, Mrs. Spencer.
I've heard the Sermon on the Mount before, but to read it myself, them are powerful words.
Arguably the most powerful ever spoken.
What Jesus is saying is that it ain't enough to love our friends and our neighbors. God wants us to love everyone, even our enemies. We're all the same in his eyes.
Fairlight, is something wrong?
Well, there are folks that say we ain't all the same, that God made some breeds to be serving others. Now, that's in the Bible, too.
You were speaking about Daniel Scott.
He came by the cabin today. He seemed nice, but...
Then what is the trouble, Mrs. Spencer?
well, he's just so...
What?
different.
How? Other than the color of his skin?
Well, he's an outsider, and some folks say he won't fit in the cove.
And what do these say?
I don't know.
Have we not all one Father? Hath not one God created us? Malachi 2:10. Neither the Negro race nor any other was created by the Almighty to be inferior.
It's not only in the Bible. The Declaration of Independence says that all men are created equal.
Perhaps one day, even women will be so highly regarded.
Ladies,
Dr. McNeil, that timing is fortuitous.
what can I do for you, Alice? Besides restocking your dispensary.
Well, right now, I'd like to talk about Daniel Scott.
What about him?
They have yet to initiate any kind of relationship with him.
Well, I've been busy and I hear he's building a cabin.
He's also anxious to begin his medical apprenticeship. When may I tell him that he will hear from me?
I cannot say. As you know, Alice, some of our patients prefer to keep their doctoring confidential.
You're procrastinating, Neil.
The truth is, I don't think he belongs here. And I can't encourage him to stay.
Indeed.
Dan?
Over here! That's it, boy. Walk up.
I wasn't sure what you decided to build. This is beautiful.
I suppose. Right now, all I can see is the work ahead of me.
And how is it coming?
I guess it'll be better once I get a well dug. Out of water again.
Well, why don't you get a drink of the Spencers? They're close by.
I don't think that's such a good idea.
I happen to be going there right now. Why don't you come with me and we'll find out? Dan. Jeb and Fairlight are good people. Give them a chance. Good afternoon, Jeb.
Miss Christy?
And I believe you know Dan Scott?
We met?
Mr. Spencer?
I was just telling Dan what good friends the Spencers have been to the mission. How you made me feel so welcome here, and how much he is going to enjoy getting to know you.
I got a heap of work to do.
Can I give you a hand with that, Mr. Spencer?
I doubt it.
I will leave you two men to talk this over.
Did, you folks lose a lot of bees this winter?
What the cold didn't get, bears did.
Well, they seem to be recovering pretty well.
They're coming along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, these new hives should help. I know a bit about keeping bees. Enough to leave it to an expert such as yourself. Tell me, you, ever have occasion to rent them out?
Rent? Bees, never heard of it.
Back in Kentucky, farmers use bees to pollinate their crops. Apple orchards and alfalfa, mostly.
Folks pay for that?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes quite a lot.
How many hives we talking about? Per acre?
1, 2.
Here, I thought all it was good for was making honey.
I've even heard of some folks raising queen bees for sale.
Imagine that.
He's loved his music ever since he was a little boy. I remember Jeb singing me a song, and John chimed right in. He wasn't no more than 2 years old.
And he soaks it up faster than I can teach it.
Well, you take time with him, and he's grateful for it, even if he ain't told you. And Jeb and me, we are too.
I feel like John said something to me.
Bessie Colburn's been over here almost every day lately. John doesn't seem too happy to see her.
I think she's pressuring him. She wants to get married, but you cannot let them. They are not ready.
I know. And so does Jeb, and so does Kyle Colburn. But trying to hold back young hearts, well, you might as well try to stop the sun from shining.
Meet me by the river tonight.
Bessie, I got chores and I want to work on my songbook.
I need you to, John. Please, John?
I was restless. It's too bright to sleep.
I should try. I've got an early morning.
And I will say goodnight.
Don't stay up too late.
Christy, what are you doing here?
I didn't realize I'd gone so far. My mind was spinning. I needed a walk, so I just followed the moon.
She's comforting, isn't she?
I've always thought that. Ever since I was a little girl.
I'll wager you were a pensive child who thought too much for her own good.
I still do. So do you. Tonight you were thinking of Margaret.
Yes.
I think about her too.
I tried to forgive her. The hell of it is, I think I have.
Then what is it?
She gave me back my wedding ring. But she's alive, somewhere. Just when I thought there was some kind of life for me. I find I'm still a married man.
Sadie, it's time to leave for school. Here. Study hard. Hey, Bessie.
Is John ready?
Oh, honey, he's left already. Before we got up, I reckon.
But we always walk to school together.
Well, he goes early now to work on his music.
To be with her. That's all he ever thinks about.
Who?
Teacher. But he's wrong about her. She's a dirty sinner. She deserves to burn in hell.
Why, Bessie Colburn, someone should wash your mouth out with soap. You ought to be ashamed. Bessie! Stop right there, John Spencer. What's going on here?
Nothing.
Don't lie to me, boy. You're sneaking around like a thief. Bessie's crying her eyes out.
I ain't gonna marry Bessie, that's all.
Oh, well, you mean y'all decided to wait? Well, now, I think that's good.
I mean, I ain't gonna marry her, ever. I know we had us an understanding, and I did love her. But I don't know more. I care for someone else now.
Is this about Rob Allen? When Bessie was sweet on him last fall, are you trying to pay her back?
That don't got nothing to do with it.
Love ain't all flowers and moonlight, John. Sometimes it's tears and hurtful words, and trying to hurt someone else the way they've hurt you.
I gotta go now, Mama. I'm late for school.
Mercy.
Hello? Cut a gap mission. No, Dr. McNeil is not here. He does not reside here. Yes, I believe I could locate him. Is it Margaret? Dear God.
Morning! Is Christy about?
She's at school.
Well, she did me a kindness. I wanted to thank her.
Good. I was riding to fetch you. There's been an accident. Train derailed north of El Pano. They need doctors and nurses badly. Please tell Miss Huddleston and hold us in your prayers until our return.
Anything I can do for you today, ma'am? Sweep up, clean the windows?
No, John. I don't think it's such a good idea that you stay after school so much.
I like to be busy.
We have to talk about what you said to me the other day.
Ain't nothing to talk about. I know how I feel.
I'm flattered. And I think the world of you. But you are my student, and there could never be anything between us.
Teacher, I got a bone to pick with you. You leave John alone. You don't care for him. You're just playing with his feelings.
Be quiet, Bessie. You don't know nothing.
John.
I know she's got her hooks in you, John Spencer. And you're so cow-eyed, you can't see she's making a first-class fool of you.
You're the fool. You keep running after someone who don't care for you, who don't want you.
You don't love me no more.
Maybe I never did. I'll see you tomorrow, ma'am.
Bessie, he does not mean that. He does love you.
From me.
Bessie, please listen to me. I did not.
You're gonna be sorry. I'll make you sorry if it's the last thing I do.
I'd been trying so hard not to hurt John's feelings that I never even thought about Bessie's. I had to make things right, but I didn't know how. Fairlight was the one person who might be able to help. But early the next morning, when I got to the Spencer cabin, she wasn't there.
Hello, Lulu. Hello, Miss Christy.
Hello, John. Is your mother here?
No, ma'am. She's out collecting grains and Daddy's off hunting. Don't know when they'll be back.
I came to ask her advice. I know you don't want to talk about Bessie, but we have to. She was crying when she left us today, John.
So?
You can't do that to her.
She did the same thing to me.
Here,
She doesn't care about me.
She does care about you. She wouldn't have reacted that way if she didn't.
Come here, Bunny.
We have to do something!
Down!
Come on, get them off! Get them off!
All right, Lulu.
Take our side, come on.
I know, Lulu. It's going to be all right.
I'll get Dr. McNeil.
He's in El Pano. There was a train wreck. Go for Dan. He knows bees. He might know what to do.
Colored? No, ma'am, Daddy wouldn't
John,
like it.
go for Dan Scott now. Lulu, breathe. Breathe with me. Breathe. Okay, breathe.
How is she?
Worse by the minute.
Let's see here. John, I want you to run and gather up all the milfoil and bee balm you can and bring it back here. And willow bark if you can find some. Come here, little one. Let's sit you up here. Ease up your breathing some.
What are the flowers for?
The milfoil and the bee balm will make a poultice draw out the poison. Willow bark eases the pain. But don't you worry, little one. We're not gonna let anything happen to you. Christy, I'm gonna need about the sharpest knife you can find. Now, Lulu, this isn't gonna hurt unless you move. So you need to be perfectly still. You hear? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slide this knife across your skin so that the stingers come out without releasing any more of the poison. That didn't hurt, now did it? You see? I told you. Swelling's going down already.
Get away from my child!
Jeb, there has been an accident with the bees, and Dan is treating Lulu.
It's true, Daddy. Miss Christy drove the bees off. About the bravest thing I ever seen. But the stings made Lulu real sick.
Dan got the poison out. He may have saved her life.
It hurted, Daddy. But he made it go away.
I reckon we're obliged.
Dan.
It's all right, Miss Christy.
On Sunday, Miss Alice and Dr. McNeil had not yet returned from the train wreck. We prayed for the living and the dead. The Spencers were especially thankful that Lulu was much better.
Couldn't find her nowheres this morning. Bessie's done disappeared. Good thing you are here. Otherwise, I'd be thinking the worst.
I don't know where Bessie's at, Mr. Colburn. We don't keep company no more.
Bessie, why have you disrupted this service?
I'm here to bear witness. I seen Miss Christy with a man 3 nights ago down by the river. And she was wallowing in sin.
Bessie, no.
With John Spencer.
That's a lie.
No, it ain't. I swear it's the truth. Miss Christy sinned in the eyes of the Lord with John Spencer.
Bessie. You know what you said is not true. Bessie. I was in shock. I didn't know what to think. Whatever Bessie saw, or thought she saw, how could she tell such a lie? And how could people believe it? But as I looked around me, I was horrified to see that they did.
Look out, Doc! You must have stepped on the bee when we need it.
Is somebody ill?
Lulu turned over a beehive and got stung near to death. Miss Christie saved her, but Lulu swallowed bad with the poison. It's a good thing he knew what to do.
He?
The colored man.
You mean Daniel Scott, Zadie?
He treated Lulu for her bee stings?
Yes, sir. He took out the stingers and made a poultice out of the flowers. Oh, Lulu's much better, but Mama sent us to get some more just in case.
I suppose you'll tell me I didn't bother examining Lulu, that your protege doesn't need supervision.
On the contrary, Doctor, I insist that you examine Lulu. And he used to be your protege, not mine. Oh, Neil, it's not a competition. Another pair of hands is a godsend. Does Miss Huddleston know why thou art not in school today?
There ain't no school today. They don't want Miss Christie teaching us no more.
Can we help? Hold on. We miss you, Miss Christie. A powerful lot.
Well, I miss you too.
We won't never have no learning no more.
Burl, don't you think that. Even if I'm not here. You'll get a new teacher. Miss Alice will see to that.
Won't nobody be as good as you?
You go on home now. Your folks won't like you being here.
Christy! What can I do?
You shouldn't have come.
You've listened to me
We
often
can't.
enough.
Somebody might see us like Bessie did down by the river. Maybe she thought I was with John, or maybe she just made it up, but she saw us together.
Christy, all we did that night was talk. It was innocent.
You are a married man. A midnight meeting with you is worse than being with John, for my reputation as well as yours.
We've nothing to be ashamed of.
They will never believe that.
I seen what I seen.
You didn't see nothing but sick thoughts in your own head. Miss Christy never hurt you, Bessie. All she wanted was for us to learn. She put a knife right through her heart.
Can't you stop talking about her? What about us?
I see it real clear now. All we ever had was built on lies. No stronger than a spider's web.
John!
Fairlight, I need to talk to you.
I got a lot of work to do before the singing tomorrow.
Please?
John's out looking for Bessie. He told us that what she said yesterday wasn't true.
But you don't believe him.
I know my boy. You touch a place deep inside him where he would lay down his life for you. And I see it in your face sometimes, too, when you listen to his music. He touches you. You were helpful with my Lulu, and I am grateful for that. But Jeb and the men, they side with Uncle Bog, and they think it's best you stay by yourself.
What about your reading?
I am beholden for that, too.
Mr. Spencer?
What you done for my little gal? I owe you.
Glad to help.
Doc said she might have died if not for you. You done the same as he would.
Well, you ought to thank your boy. He must have set some kind of record running over here.
Spencers pay their debts. What do you charge for your doctrine?
I don't want your money, Mr. Spencer, or anything else you own. What I would like is a chance, a fair chance, as a neighbor.
Well, Guess you heard about the singing we're having at our place.
It's fine, Mr. Spencer. Don't let Lulu get too excited.
Maybe we could start off by using our front names. Mine's Jeb.
Mine's Dan.
I thought you'd be at the Spencer singing by now.
I told David I'm not going. I am not welcome at the Spencers.
I doubt that.
Fairlight never wants to see me again.
Fairlight Spencer and you have a true friendship. Self-pity won't help you. If they would conquer a lie, they must tell the truth.
This table's near to groaning. Fetch me some water so I can wash those berries.
Everybody! Who's gonna dance? Sally Ann. Who's gonna hold her shaking hand when the fiddler starts his band? Who's gonna dance with Sally Ann? Sail away, boy.
I can't let you take the blame.
No. This is something I have to do myself.
Thank you, Miss Huddleston.
I have something to say. We all know what happened in church last Sunday. And since then, we've sat in judgment. I could quote scripture about he who is without sin casting the first stone, but I won't. But I believe Miss Huddleston to be a fine and honorable woman. And I'm proud to know her.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Reverend. But I am the one who must speak in Miss Huddleston's defense.
Don't! Preacher's right. Nobody ought to be judging Miss Christy. It was me. I was the one who sinned. Teacher was by the river. She was by herself. I told a lie. I'm sorry, John.
I'll switch you good. You caused a heap of trouble.
Colburn, wait. Bessie did tell a lie at church. And she told another one just now. But this time it was to protect me. Bessie did see me down by the river. With Dr. McNeil.
That's true.
We met by accident. We talked. And then we went our separate ways. If you believe that is a good reason to dismiss me, go ahead.
If you value the truth, you'll allow Miss Huddleston to go on teaching your children.
should have trusted you, no matter what. Served me right if you never spoke to me again.
It's pretty hard to have reading lessons that way, isn't it? My friendship with Fairlight would be like fine china. Once broken, twice as strong with the mending. I would even learn to forgive Bessie in time.
You ready to go?
David, I don't know how to thank you for what you did for me.
I meant every word I said.
How strange love is. It made David my knight in shining armor. It made Bessie my enemy. And it made Neil McNeil even more of a mystery. I knew he cared. He had been willing to sacrifice his good name for me. But I wondered if I would ever know what was truly in his heart.